The following program is sponsored by PokerStars.net. Last night on the big game, Daniel Negreanu won some big hands early.
What do you got?
Nothing, of course.
Oh, good. That's good for me.
And emerged as the top dog on the night.
You gotta have hot Viffa.
But it was the loose cannon, Elizabeth Houston, who caught the attention of the table.
I'm rooting for you in this hand.
Thank you. Everyone's rooting for you.
Everyone always roots for the loose cannon.
And had the boys wrapped around her finger.
Where'd you say you were from again?
Alberta.
I'm going to visit.
Tonight, see if Elizabeth can use her charm to win big money on the big game.
No guts, no glory.
This is the PokerStars.net Big Game.
Welcome to another night in Las Vegas, Nevada. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I am Chris Rose, and tonight some of the biggest names in the game continue to battle in the big game poker room with over $1.2 million on the table.
Trigger-happy Tony G started with $500,000 of those dollars. He dropped down a bit, he added on, and now he's up 22-1.
David Pete, a.k.a. Viffer, a.k.a. I'll bet, raise, and call with any two, a.k.a. stuck nearly 80 a.k.a.s or Ks.
We haven't heard much from 21-year-old William Reynolds other than a pickup line yet. We'll see if he picks up any hands. He's down 15K.
Daniel Negreanu has bounced back from his previous big game appearance where he was stuck over 300 grand. He's up six figures.
Like Daniel, the loose cannon is Canadian. Elizabeth Houston is hoping to increase the $100,000 she's been staked to help raise awareness for autism, a disorder that affects her 8-year-old nephew. So far, she's headed in the right direction, up $18,700.
And tonight's final player is Joe Hashem. The 05 world champ is currently stuck over 51,000. Right now, the gentlemanly Aussie is with our Amanda Leatherman.
Joe, last night was your first night here on the big game. What are your impressions so far?
Well, I've never been at a table that was more talkative.
I know.
And the chips were flying fast and furious. I can only imagine what's going to happen tonight and future nights.
So what do you think of the loose cannons play so far?
Really good. I think she's taken the correct approach to the game. She's playing really, really solid and really, really strong. So she's only entering pots that she's prepared to play, strongly, and that's all she can hope for.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, that limp re-raise was magic, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right, Joe, good luck today.
Thank you.
Once again, each loose cannon is staked 100 grand to play and keeps all money above the initial 100,000. The loose cannon who's won the most money at season's end earns a North American Poker Tour passport worth $50,000.
Nadia Magnus is currently the leading loose cannon for the passport at over $63,000. Elizabeth still has a few nights to catch her.
And if she finishes on the plus side by the end of the week, Elizabeth could choose to come back and increase her profits.
There's a bullet there that I wouldn't have done.
She will not be increasing them this hand as she folds.
Elizabeth handles her cards like an amateur. Gotta think the guys will notice that.
Hashem raises to 1,200. Reynolds and Viffer are out. Tony G, 6 high, is playing.
Even drawing live, Tony's hand is trash bags. Now he's dominated to boot.
8, 4, 9, 3 hearts. Joe, the only one with a heart. It goes check, check. 8 of spades on the turn. Tony bets 3,000.
You're a machine, Tony.
Not really.
You are. I've seen machines. You're definitely a machine.
I have to defend my blind.
You got it.
Hashem folds.
Joe did have the best hand, but if you're drawing to a 6-high flush, it's generally better to release it.
I hate to lose the blinds.
I have no idea how much money you got there.
So Tony G picks up where he left off last night as we take a look at the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit, then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. Every player begins with at least 100 grand, but can reload for up to $500,000.
Tony G chose to buy in for 500 large, and right now he's got more in front of him than anyone else in the history of the big game.
But less than 25,000 of it is profit.
You know who you look a little like? Chip Reese. Doesn't he look a little like Chip Reese?
I can see that.
A young Chip Reese.
Chip Reese is a Hall of Famer who's no longer with us, widely considered to be one of the greatest poker players of all time. He was known to be good-looking and charming, too. I take it as a compliment.
Viffer calls. Tony G raises. The cannon folds.
Harpo Marks. Harpo Marks.
Huh?
Harpo Marks.
Harpoon Marks?
Harpo.
Harpo Marks, Hall of Fame comedian, brother to Groucho and Zeppo.
I don't know who that is. I know who Chip
Yeah,
Reese.
Marks brothers?
Harpo is the one who honked the horn when he had a busted flush draw. 5-8-8. Joe's jack still best. He checks.
Check.
Viffer
Check.
checks. Tony fires $5,000.
Pop a fiver in there.
You must like him.
Joe has an overpair to the board. There's not much for him to dislike about this flop.
20. 20.
20 now.
Joe raises to 20,000.
Viffer looks like he doesn't want to fold, but Joe isn't going to do this very often with a hand that 2 10s can beat. It is Viffer, though, so if he does get out of line, Joe could smash him here.
I fold.
Feels like the five's a waste now. I mean, I got to protect it somehow. It's my little soldier in there.
Good fold by Viffer.
Can't just let it die like that.
Can't let your children drown.
Threw in one little soldier, he put 20 against me. This is an officer in there.
I think Tony's taking this analogy pretty far. Next, he'll be naming them and ranking them.
I'm going to sacrifice him. You're a world champion.
Tony folds.
Very tough laydown for Tony, I'm sure.
Sometimes reputation is all you need, huh?
I think he just robbed us.
I think
I'm pretty sure I folded the best hand.
Rest assured, Viff, it was a good fold.
I could have folded a lot. I folded the best hand. I'm pretty sure. But he is a champion, so.
And Joe takes down an early pot.
I mean, the reputation speaks for itself.
Hashem's reputation is that of tight solid. However, his VPIP and PFR stats seem to indicate that he's changed gears by playing fairly aggressively so far.
Just got bullied.
Speaking of aggression.
Ace Jack for Tony G. Raised to 1,500. The cannon. Folds. King Queen for Daniel.
Daniel's ahead of Tony's range.
You made it 15, right?
Let's make it 5. I mean, that's
All right, fine. If you ask, I'll...
Daniel re-raises. Joe folds. Harpo out. Viffer
I was going to do 48, but what's the difference?
gone.
Just make it clean.
Tony calls.
Yeah, just make it 5. Take 5.
See what we do.
Even though Daniel's ahead, he's only a little worse than a coin flip to run Tony down.
King 9 ace. Tony checks top pair. Daniel checks middle pair. 10 of spades on the turn. Tony checks.
Both players have picked up more outs.
I go to bed the river.
And Daniel makes it on the river.
I check.
Tony slows down and checks. Daniel bets 6,000.
With the nuts, Tony rivered 2 pair.
I got to run really bad against you, don't I? I call.
Tony calls. And Daniel shows him the straight.
It's just beyond sick. Well done. Sick. You done bet that all the way. Man.
What's that? I was dead the whole way?
That pot was worth over 23 grand.
Just check it all the way and just give him 5,000.
Where was the heart, Tony?
He did have the commitment.
If you want to appear as a loose cannon on the big game, log on to PokerStars.net. They're free qualifying tournaments every day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where David Pete has been a bit unlucky so far this week. But to Viffer, just being able to sit down at a poker table must feel like a free roll.
Poker changed my life in a lot of ways. I had a brain abscess, which is like a zit growing on your brain. It grew on my optical nerve. So it took away my peripheral vision, and I spent 30 days in the hospital. When I got out of the hospital, I had to stay home for 6 months straight. And I discovered online poker. It changed my life. It gave me like a social network to get involved in. I met a lot of people and friends through poker. Yeah, it kind of, it did me pretty well.
You can tell Viffer's life has been changed by poker because he seems to be having an absolute blast out there.
Except for tonight when he's down almost 100 grand.
He's still smiling.
That's true. Action begins on another giggler at the table.
Tammy's got all the angles.
William Reynolds folds. Viffer out.
1,000. Friendly 1,000.
Tony G raises a friendly 1,000. The cannon calls.
Sorry.
Elizabeth is way ahead of Tony's range. I'd love to see her 3-bet him, but then again, that might make it easier for him to blow her off the flop.
Tony, you stole it, Joe?
Daniel calls. So's Joe.
See, by not re-raising, she's let in 2 other players who will both want to try to take this away from her at some point.
The flop. Jack 9 deuce, 2 diamonds. Daniel with the nut flush draw and checks. Joe checks his flush draw.
Both playing in flow.
$2.
Tony bets 2,000. Elizabeth with top pair now.
And top kicker, but this is a draw-heavy board.
Raise it to 6.
Raises to 6,000.
Significant commitment here to this pot.
This is a very good raise from Elizabeth. You want to try to get the pot heads up, and you want to charge these jokers to draw. I don't see any of the pros at this table folding the nut flush draw on the flop. Certainly not Daniel.
You're right, he calls.
Now, in Joe's case, after a bet and a raise and a call, drawing to a non-nut flush is pretty risky.
Hashem folds, and Tony G's out,
This
too.
man, you again. I've got a plan for you this time.
And the plan works as Daniel makes his nut flush. Of course, it would have given Joe a weaker flush than Daniel.
Joe will be able to mop up his tears with the money he saved.
Daniel looks like he's leading out to 12,000.
Daniel's now betting into the last aggressor, which is smart in this case because it prevents you from letting your opponent check behind you. And leading out makes it harder for them to give you credit for a hand since it looks so aggro.
25.
Houston races to 25,000.
Elizabeth obviously still really likes top pair, top kicker. She may be afraid that Daniel's trying to make a move on her.
Raise 25 more.
Daniel re-raises to 50,000.
If Elizabeth makes this call, it'll be for more than a third of her stack, and she's drawing dead.
Tough decision, I assume.
I'm going to be your lawyer.
Going
Take
back
the
through,
fifth.
Going back through all those hands that
Don't
I played
listen
on
to
the
him.
show before.
Maybe I'm just trying to decide if I should push now or later.
It's up to you.
No Jedi mind tricks, Daniel.
No more third party in my hand stuff.
Houston folds.
Show one time, kid.
Can't show it.
Dan, when you raised, I was so happy. Then when you re-raised, I was even happier. And I don't get to see both cards, any cards, because I folded a flush.
Oh, you had a. You would have made a flush on the turn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just thought I was getting set up with a better flush.
Joe's radar right on.
You had a jack or something? Pair maybe.
Don't answer
Oh,
that.
you had. I have no
You
idea.
have ace jack?
I did have ace jack.
Oh, you didn't have the ace of diamonds.
I did. No.
You had the ace of diamonds.
I had
Ace
a
jack,
diamond.
right?
Yeah.
So was
You
I
had
the
a
only-
diamond and you had the jack.
No.
No. You don't remember now.
You should have. You shouldn't have. Maybe it was a good raise. I mean, at least you knew where you are. And you get a free showdown.
Somebody's wearing some rose-colored glasses.
Oh, it's fun being the only one who knows what's up.
We know what's up. Of course, we get to see all the cards.
And so do all of you at home.
Like Queen Tray for Tony. Raises to 2,000. Houston folds. Daniel's out. Joe Hashem, Jack Deuce, see ya. William Reynolds, pair kings. Re-raises to 7,500.
Will hasn't played a ton of hands. See if that gets him any credit.
Viffer, pocket pair. Fires him away and exposes it.
Somebody out there. Yeah.
Now I got to play. You don't have one of those, do you?
Tony calls.
Well, I don't think you have that.
I don't know that yet.
Are you getting a little tangly?
Tangly nervous? No. I'm excited to be heads up in a pot.
Especially excited to have kings against Tony G.
Tray 6 Jack, Reynolds still best.
Okay, I think this is safe enough.
You gonna move in? It's not a bad idea. I'll have a 5, 10, or 20. I mean, if I haven't got it, I got to fold anyway.
I'm gonna one-up that.
Reynolds bets 11,000.
That's fair enough.
With bottom pair, Tony calls.
We'll have a look at one more card just to make sure. It's not mine, you know.
5 of spades on the turn.
G peels one off. It's hard to be open-ended right now.
The fault was good, though.
Tony picked up a bunch more outs to the flush. Going to be even harder to get him to fold now.
You feeling comfortable?
Will's probably considering the likelihood of Tony making a straight. That would be a pretty narrow part of Tony's range.
Check to the machine.
Reynolds checks.
I'm all in.
Tony shoves.
All of it?
If you set me up, you set me up. Good luck to you.
I love that attitude. You set me
You set me up, you set me up. All right, I can't fold. I'm not going to feel homey if I call.
Reynolds calls.
Wow,
So you have a huge draw? All right.
How many times you gentlemen running it?
Do you want to run it more than once? Just one time? Just one time? Okay.
You're so due to hit these. That's what you know.
No, I don't care about that. It's just fun for the tee. I don't want to confuse the home viewer.
Don't want to confuse the home viewer.
So they're only going to run it once.
I think he's going to hit it.
Tony's got a ton of outs.
The river is a spade.
That's the first one I've ever hit on this show. So
True. I just feel like you're so due to hit one.
A date with an 8. It was produced.
A date with an 8.
How convenient. I rebuy.
Rebuy. There goes the cash machine. All right. Ship it.
4 chips.
There goes another hundy.
Money here, I got you.
Either way, that was a cooler. Once they flopped that 3, I was qualified.
Welcome back to the big game where William Reynolds has just dipped into his pocket for another 100 grand.
It's all part of the job for this eccentric 21-year-old from Sioux City, Iowa. Daniel Negreanu lists William among his top 5 young guns, along with Annette, Isildur, Jason Mercier, and Durr.
Great group of young players in poker. They seem to be getting smarter and smarter every day. Well, now it is time for the Couch Cannon segment. This is where we reveal only the cards of the loose cannon. You at home, try to play along.
This is the segment that's going to win us the Emmy, Chris.
I can feel it. Tony's the big blind, so we're under the gun.
So that means our range should be pretty tight.
Pocket kings.
I'd say that falls into our range. We're going to want to make a standard raise.
I hope to be involved again.
No, just a limp.
Elizabeth did this once before with aces and it worked out, but I'm nervous about it still.
Action has folded around to Viffer in the small blind. Folds.
Can't check it back and win it all.
I raise it. Don't worry. It's like a present. It's not even.
So Tony's raised to 1,400.
Tony's opened the door. We should get some more money in.
Call.
It's not even anything.
Come on, Elizabeth. Punish him.
I can guarantee you I have
He's
the
got
best
plenty.
hand.
It's not even gonna...
Vanessa Russo punished me something sweet. That was the sweetest punishment anyone ever received.
Tony bets 2,000.
We're okay with this board so far. We want to start getting value now.
Don't get into trouble here. This is dangerous territory.
A raise and a call.
I don't want you. I've qualified. I can promise you.
Jack of clubs on the turn.
I can promise you.
Tony bets 10,000.
I like the flop raise, and while I hate this card that just came out, I don't think we can ever fold 2 kings to Tony G on this board. He could too easily be doing this with just a pair or even worse. So I think we should try to get to showdown as cheaply as possible now, on layaway with a coupon, whatever we have to do. At the very least, we should see how much we hate the next card.
It's a sick lay down. But I know I got it. Did you catch a flush?
I'm qualified.
Are you going to show me?
I show you one card. I can't show both. That would be unfair.
A few hands ago, Daniel turned a flush on Elizabeth. I just don't see how you can give Tony G this much credit.
Oh, okay.
She does.
I gotta mix it up, don't I?
Let's see what Tony... Oh, that's brutal.
The worst starting hand in poker.
One card.
I'm going to hate you, aren't I? Yeah.
I think
You
he just,
bastard.
You bastard!
Why?
I had kings.
That would have been the same situation.
Yeah, what was the other one?
If you called it 10, I mean, you lose the whole stack.
Probably had like
Now you're getting people to fold kings, Tony.
10 deuce.
No, I didn't have that. I had
You had
You had what?
I had a deuce in my hand.
The lady just told you she folded
I didn't
kings.
have, I didn't have 3 deuces.
you had a deuce?
I had the ace of clubs. Deuce with the ace of clubs.
Disguised as a 7 of spades for Halloween.
You had 10 deuce?
You didn't have anything, did you?
I think Tony actually feels bad about it.
Not that bad.
Was it 2 deuces?
Joe raises.
Yeah.
Reynolds, king 10.
But I promise you I was qualified.
Folds.
The deuce qualified you. We already know you were qualified.
Viffer calls.
I got to raise it. I promise you I was qualified.
Tony re-raises.
That's enough, right? Because if I miss the flop, I fold. I promise.
Action back on over to Joe.
Hashem is dominated.
Calls.
You'll tell me after at least I'll learn something.
Viffer also in.
In position.
Oh, you've got position, Tony. How can we raise you?
See the small blind? I've defended it 3 times in a row with a re-raise. I've been consistent.
Protecting the loose cannon.
Unless Tony's bluffing her with 7 deuce.
Ace 9
I
6.
got to bet that flop.
Top pair for Tony.
I got to bet that flop.
And he does. 11,000.
Joe's also got top pair, but he is outkicked.
The ace from space has arrived.
We know Tony's rep and what he did last hand with 7 deuce.
I'm giving up.
It's going to be very tough for Joe to fold here. He doesn't.
Calls.
Viffer's got a flush draw.
The Whiffmeister.
Making capes.
And making the call.
The Whiffmeister making calls.
Please be a heart on a turn.
Wanting to hit the spade. The Vifster.
It is a heart.
Magical. It's so magical. It's another 8, too. Just calling 8 flush
I
cards.
check. I haven't got any.
Tony checks. Joe now has a straight draw as well.
I'm all in.
And he's all in.
Joe didn't have very much behind. Viffer's now got a pair to go with his flush draw.
Go on, Whiff.
I'm trying to figure out what he has here.
Viffer's not getting the worst odds, but that's only if he's not up against bigger spades. Plus, he still has Tony to act behind, and his pair and trip outs might be dead. If he just calls, he could get blown off this pot.
Nope, he folds, but Tony calls.
What do we have?
I can't wait.
I don't have much. I have 1 pair, so.
Oh, you got a draw.
1 pair is good with top kicker.
Oh, wow.
Is that good?
God, I wish I would have called.
Joe's dead to a 5 or a 7 for a gut shot, and 2 5s have been folded.
The river is a 7.
Seven from heaven.
That's sweet. 36, right?
Hashem doubles through.
And just look at the excitement.
Everything okay now, Joe? With your pair?
I qualified, as Tony would say.
It doesn't take much to qualify in this game, but
Not here in the big game.
you were clearly qualified. Hashem was overly qualified the way
was
these two
actually
have been
qualified.
playing. Viv says he's qualified.
And we're qualified to come back after this.
Welcome back. Do you want a chance to be a loose cannon and win that NAPT passport? Log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. Now let's get back to the action.
Well, the loose cannon is probably not thinking about that North American Poker Tour passport right now. After folding her kings to Tony G, Elizabeth is stuck more than 23 grand.
After 44 hands, she currently joins William Reynolds and Viffer in the basement, while Joe is positive once again. Daniel Negreanu continues to lead the way with over $160,000 in profit.
Once again, to see stats for every hand, additional hands, and bonus footage deemed too hot for TV, check the
You
website.
did call it. You did call it.
No, it rhymes well. 7 from heaven. Right?
Joe Hashem looking at pocket
You
nines.
deserve it. That's why you're the world champion.
Raises.
Because he deserves it.
1 time.
Big slick for William Reynolds. Calls. Viffer. He's in. Tony G.
Tilted up. So I can't raise.
Of course. Queen Jack for the cannon. Calls.
Okay. Family pot.
Wow, really?
All 6 of us, okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Family pot here in the big game.
Jack 4-9. Joe hits a set.
With 2 jacks out there, this could be profitable for Joe.
One of those jacks belongs to the cannon, who checks. Daniel checks.
Hashem flops a set and has the rest of the table drawing almost dead, which is an incredible amount of equity in a 6-way pot.
Fires 5,500.
Everybody needs some kind of runner to catch Joe.
All right, with the whole family behind.
Reynolds folds. Viffer calls. Tony's out.
It might be tough for Elizabeth to know she's beat here.
She calls.
Wow.
Daniel folds.
Family gets a little bit smaller.
Joe's building a pot, and his bet will look like a continuation bet.
King of diamonds.
Check.
Houston checks. Hashem still best.
It's a bad turn card for Joe. It's a scare card since the best draw, which was Queen 10, just got there.
Joe checks.
He's going to play it cautiously now.
Viffer bets 17,000.
Elizabeth has caught one part of the runner she'll need to run down Joe.
She calls.
How much behind this?
5-5, my guess.
55-60.
Elizabeth's made a good read on Viffer, but she's forgotten about Joe to act behind.
Joe just calls.
Wow.
All right. Oh, there's one more card to come?
Don't fold yet.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess we know how Viffer feels about his hand.
Joe makes a full house.
Check.
Houston checks.
First, Joe might have been afraid someone had Queen 10.
I'm all in.
Hashem shoves.
Now he's really hoping someone has Queen 10.
Viffer folds. So's the cannon.
Come on.
Wow, you played that very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, just check call the turn and then fire the river.
Can't have a hand there. I won't complain. I took the pot.
The cannon began the night up almost 19 grand from the original 100,000 she was staked. She's taken a huge hit and is now down almost half her stack. Meanwhile, Joe Hashem's had a good run. The 05 world champ may be best known on TV for his tourney play, but he cut his teeth in the cash world.
For me, switching from a tournament to a cash game, it's no big deal. I played cash games almost strictly before I won the World Series. So, and although I don't play this level of cash game on a regular basis, it doesn't impede me because nobody that's sitting at the table plays this level all the time anyway. And you know what's funny? People play differently on television, and I'd like to think that I can take advantage of that.
People do play much differently on television. In fact, Tony G plays even more hands when we're shooting him from his good side.
Oh, which side would that be, Joe?
The top side.
Action actually begins on Tony since Viffer straddled.
Extremely comfortable.
You are a machine, Tony.
Tony raises to 2,000. Pocket pair for the loose cannon.
Quack, quack.
Calls. Ooh.
Okay, Tony G open and a loose cannon call.
All right, Chris, take the night off.
7 from heaven, I did call it.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Viffer calls. I just should put that on tape. He's always calling. Deuce, tray 8, 2 clubs. The cannon flops a set.
This would be a good time for her to try to get some of her money back.
Viffer checks. Tony checks.
Betting's the right move here, but betting will look strong.
3,000.
She fires 3,000. Viffer folds.
You wanted to?
So's Tony.
Yeah.
I'm a two-time kind of guy. Always
I
run
always say
twice.
twice.
That's it.
She shows.
I had king 5.
Set of deuces.
Nice.
Oh.
A lot of good it did me.
Hey, you got a little bit of money.
Yeah, I
with
did.
that
I'm
Queen G
happy
guy.
with it.
You know what my daddy always taught me? You can't go broke making a profit, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
That
I was hoping at least Viffer would try to put a move on me so I could push.
My guess is Viffer will make a move on you on the poker table. We're back after this. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where you are looking at the dwindling stack of the loose cannon, Elizabeth Houston. Standing by with Amanda is the man who just took a few of those chips, Tony G.
Tony, there's a ton of action going on out there. You love it or what?
I love it. This is sort of home game I'm talking about. This is so much fun, and Elizabeth is so special. I mean, she's just beautiful, wonderful. And
You have to feel bad about bluffing her.
I kind of felt I might have had the best hand. You know, if she had ace-king, I had a pair, so I wasn't really thinking I'm bluffing.
All right, well, give her a break and take the other guy's chips.
I will. I'll do that.
Good luck.
Did Tony just say the loose cannon was special, wonderful, and beautiful?
Yep.
Alrighty then.
We are exactly 1/3 of the way through the 150 hand week. Hand 51 begins with Joe Hashem folding. William Reynolds is out. Viffer Ace tray, see ya. Tony, pocket pair, raises. Houston folds.
Big bet.
So
Big
this
bet.
is consistent.
Daniel calls.
We know this hand is right in Daniel's wheelhouse.
4-7-10, bottom 2 pair for Daniel.
Great flop for Daniel because it's pretty safe looking for 2-8s.
He checks. Tony fires 4,000 with his pair. Daniel repops to 14 grand.
It's a straight up value raise from Daniel, knowing Tony hates folding the flop with any piece.
And Tony quickly calls. The turn, 10 of diamonds giving Tony the lead.
Dirty card for Daniel, who just got counterfeited.
Daniel checks. And Tony checks. Deuce of clubs on the river. Daniel checks. Tony bets 25,000.
I flopped 2 pair.
Still could be good. I mean,
We know it's not 10-7.
No, I had the other 2 pair.
Well, we kind of figured that out.
I could be value bidding like ace jack here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess that makes me have to do what I gotta do. Oh, Tony G.
You know best, Daniel. You always know
I don't know what to do here, honestly. I'm annoyed that 10 came.
I'm annoyed too.
I was ready to...
I did keep it friendly on the turn with you. I gave you a chance.
You don't have a 10, you've got to be betting a 10. So he has to bet a 10 on... What the heck? I can't figure it out. Here, take it.
Daniel calls.
Let me take it. Oh, geez, got it.
8. Sick. Nice hand.
Daniel with a frustration call there. And at this point, Tony G's money won at Showdown is bordering on the ridiculous for how early in the session we are. His Showdown winnings of $462,000 is almost $85,000 more than the rest of the table combined. The Loose Cannon, on the other hand, hasn't even gotten to a Showdown yet, probably because these guys perceive her as weak tight. So if she's still in by the river and they don't have the nuts, they're getting out.
Well, the Cannon's got to start stepping on the accelerator at some point, right, Joe?
That's right, Chris. There's a 150-hand ticking time clock in this game.
Joe Hashem, Queen Deuce suited, will not play. William Reynolds, King Queen.
That saved you.
Yeah, it saved me.
15.
Raises to 1,500. Viffer folds. Tony raises to 3,000. The Cannon, King Trey, out. Daniel, suited connectors.
Maybe Daniel will swear off these baby cards after that last hand.
Nope, he calls.
Nobody raised?
Not yet.
I mean, just them two. I
We're
mean.
just limping in here.
Just playing a little tiddlywinks here.
Reynolds
You will
calls.
pick up a hand and go broke again, don't worry.
3 to the flop. Queen Deuce 7. Reynolds picks up top pair. Daniel checks.
Check.
Okay, keep it friendly. 2 friends.
Tony checked middle pair. 4 of diamonds on the turn.
Now everybody's got a piece.
I got a what?
You got this pot. Reach out and take it.
I got to. I got to. I know no choice here. Just got to figure out how much it costs to win it. Seems about right.
How about 5,500?
That's a third of the pot. William probably has to call a top pair.
You all expected me just to bet that right on the flop.
Yeah, that was pretty inconsistent check from you on the flop.
But I knew that you were setting me up. I knew that he just flopped the joint.
William has been playing this hand cautiously so far.
Every hand I'm in, someone's telling them what I have. Or, like,
And continues it with a call.
But I am happy to call, just in case I
And Tony calls.
make
Still
some.
a family.
Happy to put 5.5 in.
5.5.
Jack of clubs on the river. Reynolds still best.
That jack is about as big a brick as possible. If Daniel keeps firing, it will be tough to get William off his hand.
Daniel bets 14,000.
I mean, that's unbelievable. That's sick.
feels like the ace-high hero call coming. Is that the ace-high hero call coming?
Ace-high hero call, then get re-hero called.
Will's a little worried about what Tony might do behind him, but no draws hit at all.
Call.
Reynolds calls.
I can't call. I did have ace-7, but I'm
You
gonna
had
fold.
ace-7? I have a set of queens. I'm kidding, I don't.
Okay, I have top pair with your king kicker.
That's good right now. One more. That's all that matters.
We're still just playing the 3 streets here in this game.
Well, Daniel comes up hungry on that hand because William took his leftovers and put them in Reynolds' wrap.
PokerStars.net is now offering you poker tips directly on your phone. We'll send you text messages and video tips from the PokerStars.net pros. All you got to do is text poker to the short code 52525. Really easy. Text message poker to 52525 now. Standard text message rates apply.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where the loose cannon Elizabeth Houston is down 46 grand right now. So far in the big game, only 2 cannons have walked away winners. Nadia Magnus, who's the current leading loose cannon, and then there was E-Dub, Ernest Wiggins, who took home over 50 grand.
Russell Harlow gambled with his winnings and lost, so Elizabeth Houston is hoping to be the 3rd member of that exclusive club by the end of the week. And if you're not rooting for the loose cannon already, Elizabeth has promised to use any winnings to support a cure for autism, a condition that affects her young nephew.
Obviously somebody you could really root for in this game. Well, the big game continues with William Reynolds, who folds. Viffer raises to 1,200.
Raise it.
Tony re-raises to 2 grand. The cannon's out. Daniel calls. Hashem's in. And Viffer, too.
Tony's made a very small re-raise, and it's got him the commensurate amount of action as we've only lost 2 players.
7-Jack, Trey, 2 diamonds. Daniel checks top pair. Hashem checks middle pair. Viffer checks.
3 friends is even better than 2 friends.
And Tony checks. 7 of hearts on the turn, giving Hashem trip 7s. Daniel, first to act, bets 5,500.
Looks like Daniel thinks it's safe to bet there. No matter what Joe does here, he will look pretty strong.
That looks real strong. A raise to 15-5 gets Viffer and Tony G to fold.
Joe just raised into 3 players. It should look strong. Daniel's drawing very thin.
But he calls.
We've seen Daniel lose 2 straight. He could be steaming a bit.
9 of diamonds on the river.
That's a scare card for Daniel, so it'll make it very tough for Joe to get any value.
Daniel checks. Hashem bets 20 grand.
Maybe that card just saved me 20, saved me money.
Daniel folds.
Bad card for me.
Yeah.
Well, Hashem continues to win decent-sized pots. Not a ton of monsters, but he's got a nice stack going. Meanwhile, Joe, Daniel's been our most frequent big game competitor. How's he played?
Kid Poker has played 6 times in the big game with mixed results. After the first 2 tables, Negreanu was up 172,000, and despite a few small losses on his next 2 stints, he was still up almost 150K. Things took a turn for the worse on Daniel's last time out when he was taken for over 330,000. At one point this week, Daniel was up 160K, but that number has been trimmed to just under 70,000.
If you're scoring at home, Daniel's down more than 115 grand overall.
This is like the way a cash game should be played.
It's a real cash game. That's why when Tony G's in the game, it's always a great game, and it's a lot of fun. Everyone enjoys it.
Tony, I vote for you to be in every televised game.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, we'll put the check mark next to that, too. Any televised cash game, I think Tony needs to be there.
What is that, 16 there?
Try sitting
Fair
next to him
enough.
and see how you like.
Daniel's called Tony's raise.
What do you mean? I've been butting head with him all day. Oh, you mean this?
Kings again for Reynolds.
I'm going to go 7,500.
Re-raise to 7,500.
William got stacked earlier with Kings against Tony G.
Viffer and Tony are out.
I feel like I'm going to run good against you on the show.
Daniel calls.
I got a caller, and it wasn't Tony G. Hold on here, everybody. Hold on. Tony G didn't qualify pre-flop.
Daniel qualifies with middle pair.
Now I'm looking at Daniel's second hand heads up. Now I'm out of position.
Yeah, it's more fun for me this way.
William is first to act, and he should want to bet before this board gets really nasty.
Check.
He doesn't. Checks.
Sounds fair.
Daniel checks. The turn. King of hearts, a set for Reynolds.
Well, the board didn't get any nastier for William. Got a lot better. William checked before. Let's see if he bets now that a potential scare card for Daniel has come off.
Reynolds does bet 13,000.
Daniel isn't folding right away. When you call with a hand like 7-4 and make some kind of pair, sometimes you don't want to give it up right away. Since they checked the flop, this is the first bet Daniel's facing. You get a free card on the turn, so if he calls here, he's seeing both cards while still only paying for one.
Yeah, I see it.
Daniel calls.
As you can see, Daniel has zero chance of winning this pot unless he can get William the fold.
9 of hearts on the river.
William cannot like that card. 2 big draws formed on the turn, and both just came in. Hearts and straights galore.
Action on Reynolds.
Check.
He checks.
Daniel's bluff catcher has nothing to catch at this point. These guys know each other pretty well. They play together all the time in Daniel's room.
Daniel bets 40,000.
40K, huh?
Daniel's turned his bluff catcher into a bluff.
Checked out my stack. Do you want to make sure I had enough for you to get paid off? You hit that that river heart. Daniel's a talker while he's in hands when he has the initiative. Not so much the other way around. Can't extract anything from him. He's a seasoned, grizzled veteran.
Daniel's trying to get William the fold a pair. Not sure he can let go of a set, though.
Daniel Aguano fires 40,000 into me on the river. Poker is real.
Daniel's made a great attempt. William is actually considering laying down his set.
You've been turning pairs into bluffs, haven't you, Danny? You like doing that.
The kid's got a good read.
I call.
Reynolds calls.
Well, you're too good. You know my game too well. Pair turned into a bluff.
Did you? I mean,
Yeah,
everything got there, though.
I thought you were going to fold. Nice hand. I thought you had a pair, not 3 kings. That's a nice hand.
Everything got there, and I thought you would check back most pairs, then turning your pair into a bluff came into my head.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm like, oh no, he's going to call me for sure now.
Reynolds wins his largest pot of the week, pocketing nearly 125K. And Daniel hit some speed bumps, losing more than 100,000 in the final few hands, but he can still claim a small profit. Tony G and Viffer bookend this table from opposite spectrums, while the cannon is stuck over 46,000.
The loose cannon took some damage tonight. She's got over 90 hands to go, but I think these guys are starting to smell blood in the water.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Elizabeth, rough night, huh? Are you still holding out hope?
I'm still feeling okay, yeah. I think you can come back. Still lots of hands left.
Will, life just got a whole lot better, huh?
Yeah, that one worked out.
You can see right through his soul.
No, I couldn't.
You guys have played too much together.
Yeah, see, we play online. He knows exactly what I'm doing. Nothing works.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I'm Amanda Leatherman saying goodbye for now. And remember, if you've got the cash and the guts, there's always a seat open at the big game. Good night, everybody.
If you want to appear on the big game and be a loose cannon, simply log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. For Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose. See you tomorrow night.
Tony, you're having fun, huh?
Yeah, cruising.
Yeah?
Yeah, but you know, you can go up and down.
It's probably this expensive suit.
That's what I thought.
I thought he had aces or ace king.
Yeah, like that's what I thought. I thought like the way I said check on the river, you just knew I had a king and you thought you could rep it off.
Well, yeah, I thought if you had one pair, I thought you were going to throw it away.
I really like your river bet there. The amount was perfect.
Good. Good. That's good to know.
The preceding program was sponsored by PokerStars.net.